All right, Altars by Kronos, going to bring you another match here. This is the final version before the tournament. So this is the version I will play. This is Brian's original creation, just with a few land changes. But it is his exact deck. The only thing that was missing is sideboard card, which was mana short. I actually don't own one somehow, so I threw a hive in there. That's really the only difference. But like I said in the previous video, when I go over the deck tech here, I will talk about some of the things we're thinking about replacing. But this is Brian's creation, so I will be piloting Brian's creation. So here's a little bit about Texas Old School. You can pause this if you want. We're going to watch the Four Horsemen intro.
Greetings, old school magic players, and welcome to the Four Horsemen.
All right. So if you're looking for the Four Horsemen, the reason I play that is because Four Horsemen is the group that started helping create this with Brian. Brian Weissman is part of the community. So the guys who work on this are part of the community, and we bounce back and forth between different formats. But Texas Old School, that is my new favorite format, and I'll be playing that very heavily. I'll still play some Swedish, but that's going to be my favorite format. So I want to explain something to you. This is the deck versus a version of the deck. This is not Brian's version, but it's one of the side creations that people have come up with based off of Brian's. But this is a full-blown Swedish against my Texas Old School. So I am in a huge disadvantage here because he has Mind Twist, he has Library, he has a lot of things that I do not have. So, but I wanted to pilot it, and I wanted to play against something where I was at a huge disadvantage because I wanted to see what I was capable of. So let's get down to the video here. I'm going to start off with a scrub and a pass. Now I remember him laughing because he had a crazy hand. He is apparently plays this version or version like it a lot. So he's used to playing the deck. It's not like he's a new player to it. He's a very talented Magic player. So there's a quick disenchant because I knew what he was kind of laughing, so that gave me some information there. So I wanted to get rid of that Soul Ring bad. Alright. There's one of the proxies. Again, this deck is heavily proxied at the moment because a lot of my real cards are not in this deck. They're in others, so I have to take them all apart. So when the tournament starts, I'll have all the real cards in it. But he already has 3 blue, a black, and a white, so he can basically play just about anything he needs to. So right now, it's going to go a little bit slow for a few turns because I didn't know I was playing against the deck. I didn't know what I was playing against. I just asked to play against the Swedish deck. I was very happy that I came across the version of the deck. So we're going to kind of go back and forth here for a minute. I am worried about Mind Twist because I see the cards. At this point, I thought I was playing against a version of the deck, but the cards I've seen could have been Triple S. There could have been a couple different versions that I could be against. But we were kind of laughing, and he's like, hey, here's an extra scrub. Do you need a scrub? I do, but I can't afford a scrub right now, so we're going to fast forward this up here a little bit. All right. So let's see what we got. He quick passed. Nothing going on there at all. So I'm going to play a Lotus. I'm going to crack the Lotus. and I'm going to play a Scepter. I have a feeling he has a counterspell in hand. And to be honest with you, I want to draw that counterspell out. So here's a counter on the counter. Because I have a feeling I'm against a version of the deck, I want to try and get rid of a lot of that ammunition. And he will absolutely destroy that card. There's a Divine Offering Altar. I thought that was awesome. There's a Time Walk. Like I said, he had a lot of good cards in hand. I could tell by the way that he reacted. Can't see body language, so it's a huge thing. You can always tell with someone's eyes when they draw. They'll look at certain things. They can't help it. They draw a strip mine, eyes are gonna go towards one of the lands on your side, and you know what to expect at that point. If they're kind of slouching over and paying attention to something on the side, then that's an indicator that you probably have a huge advantage and they've probably given up. There's a beautiful Demonic Tutor. Like I said, he had all the necessary cards. Alright, so he got a Tutor card. Now the problem I'm running into is I had a few cards in hand and I was desperately trying to get to the book or some kind of draw engine on my end, but I started getting heavily flooded. And as you guys know, sometimes the Magic gods decide you're going to be flooded. So here's a quick pass again. Like I said, some of this was back and forth a little bit, so if you wanted to speed it up, go right ahead. And you'll see I already have mana sources in hand, but I keep drawing mana sources. So at this point, I am pretty much losing the game. He does not realize it yet, but I am definitely losing. The only thing I have in hand right now is a Mirror Universe, which is why I wanted him to get rid of a lot of his stuff. I wanted him to blow counter spell. I wanted him to blow Disenchant. I wanted him to blow as much as possible, getting rid of that Scepter. So this way, I'm hoping to get a Time Walk, because right now I'm going to purposely take damage from his factory until I get lower, hoping that the amount of power I do have in here, a tome, whatever I happen to get, even a Sullivan Library, would be huge for me. So I could easily get a Time Walk. I can play out the spell, protect it if I need to with a counter spell, so I can play Mirror Universe, protect it with a counter spell if I have to. If not, I will Time Walk, switch life totals right off the bat, and kill him. So that was my backup plan, but I was drawing nothing but mana sources, as you see. Now, I've played quite a few games with this so far, and I haven't had this problem. I think it was just bad luck on my end. I'm going to throw a Chaos Orb out there. Yep, I drew another counter spell out of his hand. I realize what I'm against, so I'm really not stressing it. Now that's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to draw counters, but he had a third counter spell already. So I was hoping to amnesia his entire hand. So I knew he would have something for the Chaos Orb, but he had 3 counter spells already. So that was bad luck for me, but that was my chance of trying to get back in. There's a Sarah Angel. I wasn't worried about it. I have plenty of removal in my hand. Again, most of the deck, or versions of the deck, all those cards, most of them are still in here. So there's the pass. All right, so we're back. I'm going to plow. Take care of the angel. Again, I kind of want him to have life at this point because my hope is Mirror Universe, which I have in my hand. And again, I'm just going to draw more sources and more lands. Desperately searching for a Time Walk or Brain Geyser or anything. Ancestral Recall, Demonic Tutor, anything I can get my hands on. A book, Solvent Library, and the list goes on and on and on. The Magic Gods were not happy with me. Now I have more removal in my hand, but I was trying to get a little bit lower in life. And now I will start plowing his factories. So I have in the top deck another land source, but at least that one was useful. That was a strip. So I'm going to strip one of the factories. I pass turn. I kind of expect a huge Brain Geyser out of him at some point because he keeps counting all his mana up, which tells me he has something big. So it's either Fireball, Brain Geyser, or Recall. There's a huge Recall. Alright, there it is, Counterspell. So I didn't want that Recall to go through. I was holding that Counterspell for the Mirror Universe. I did not want to play it, but I did not want him to recall a bunch of lands for a bunch of spells. I would have never had a chance. More mana sources and a pass. I don't think I have a chance to win here at this point. I think I'm just too far behind. I don't have any counter magic left. I have a Mirror Universe and I believe a land, or no, Mirror Universe and a plow is all I had left. So at this point, I'm going to plow to try and remove it. I think I was going to plow. Nope, I took the damage and I'm going through the graveyard to see what's in there and try and calculate some percentages here to see what I'm more likely to draw. And look at that, another land. Had a huge pocket. So there's the pass. I don't want to get any lower at this point. I know he's on a version of the deck, so I don't expect really any more crazy going on. So I'm going to take one last hit. And then I'm going to kill that factory next turn. But I'm expecting him to kind of get greedy and throw a Sarah or something down, but it was actually a recall. Alright, he's going to pitch an Armageddon and a Plow, which is where I was kind of like, what kind of version of the deck am I on here? But it works for him, so. You got a Counterspell and a Time Walk there. So this is, I know the nail's in the coffin here. But we only got to play 2 games. So I wanted you guys to at least kind of see a little bit. The second game I think you're really going to enjoy. I literally drew the last card in my deck at one point. It was an awesome, amazing game. I'm really happy we played it. I wish we could have played a third. Unfortunately, this second game took a while, so I ran out of time. There's his Time Walk. I was hoping he would counter the library, and he didn't, which tells me he only has 1 left. But I'm desperately searching for something to get back into this game, but I don't think I can at this point. Yep, there's a massive fireball. There's the Mirror Universe. That was in my hand. So we're going to go on to game number 2, because I know he had a Counterspell, and see what happens at game number 2. Alright, so we're on to game number 2. I'm on the play here. I'm going to play an island. Going to kind of just show him that's one of the 4 Horsemen islands. He has a library out. Yep, I'm starting against the library, and I have a stripped down version of the deck, so we'll see how this goes. I think you're really going to like this game, though. Alright, sorry about that. During the game, we had some baby duties going on. He was keeping an eye on his little one, and I was keeping an eye on my 5-year-old. So we kind of dipped in and out here, so if you see some pause marks, that's actually what's going on. But he has a library going on, beautiful library. I'm going to throw a Scepter down. I do not see white. I know he wants to stay on the library, but my goal here is to get him off of library. Now he has double blue. I see he does not have it up. He is going to stay on library, which was a smart move. Like I said, he's a very good Magic player. Never played against him in the past, but I can tell by the way he was working with a lot of stuff, he is a good Magic player. He's going to copy my Scepter. Now, typically how the deck rolls is I have my 2 basic islands out. So I make it look like I don't have answers, I don't have anything going on. In fact, I was holding a Mox and a City, and I do have an answer. So before he can use it, I'm going to kill his. And now I'm going to make him pay for it. So I'm going to Scepter him now. So at this point, I'm going to start forcing him to play cards and get off of library. There are 2 Scepters in this deck. There's a Recall and a Regrowth, so I'm not all too worried if this one happens to get destroyed at the moment. But if I get another turn, I can start Sceptering and keeping Counter Magic open, and that's where the big problem's going to come in for him. Alright, there's a Fellware Stone. We're going to tap for 2, and he's going to Divine Offering. I'm going to let that go. He's going to pass. Now I have another blue and green source up. I know we can't do anything about it, so I'm going to swing and hit him for 2. Yeah, my son agrees. Go ahead, buddy. You can lay down. There's a strip on the factory, so if you notice, the little scepter's gone, but I did do what I initially wanted to do, and I got him off of it. So now I'm going to force him to start answering things. And I'm going to keep some control aspects here. And I'm learning how to pilot this version, so I was real rusty the first couple test games. But now I'm a little more comfortable with it. So again, you'll see I'm playing a scepter. But I have double blue and a city. So there's a mana drain. There's a counter spell. I know he can only play 1. I do have a city open, so I have 1 of any color. Take a wild guess what else is in my hand. Now these are not sideboarded, so I'm kind of at a disadvantage here. But so is he, because we have plows in here and we really don't have all that many targets. So at this point, he realizes he's basically off of it. So he's going to demonic tutor to try and keep himself in. Take a wild guess what he's tapping for. Everyone's favorite demonic tutor card. Session Recall. Alright, and we're back, and there's the recall. And nothing going on there, so he is at 7 at the moment. He is going to pass. I'm going to play a book. We're going to start playing the game a little bit here. So now he has 2 targets to worry about. I don't remember what was in my hand per se, but I wanted to get the book out because I should be able to draw and scepter. So there's a counter spell. I'm not letting him disenchant it. There's a factory and a mox. Again, it did its job. So I'm forcing him to play out his hand, taking him off of library, making library just a crappy land. He is going to recall. He's going to divine offering the scepter. I'm not stressing that. He has 4 cards in hand. I will show you why here in a moment. I'm going to balance with 1 card left in hand. He's going to discard his other 3. Swords, a book. And another book. He's counting up his land there. I thought for a moment I had to get rid of a land, but I did not. So that city will come back. Okay, balance is resolved and finished. I have to alter that one yet. I just won that at a tournament. So I gotta alter that one. I can't wait to do an extension. There's my card in hand, which was Ancestral Recall. Play my land for turn. That gives me 4. Now I can use the tome. As long as I don't have to counter something. There's a huge Brain Geyser. Here's the thing though, he tapped out. This is actually the funny part. I wasn't really that worried about it because the card in my hand is Brain Geyser. But I won't need to worry because he's all tapped out. So I drew with the book, draw for turn. I'm going to play my land and a Lotus. I'm going to figure out how I'm tapping all my mana here. Make sure it's tapped correctly. There's a huge Brain Geyser. And there's my Time Walk. That's why I wasn't really stressing it that much. I was actually hoping to get an Amnesia. I have all the mana. If I even got a Demonic Tutor, it would have worked. What did I drew? Mox. Tons of lands. I don't remember if I played a land per turn or not. I think that's what I was discussing there. He said I didn't, so okay. We'll strip the library. I'm going to draw out the book again, trying to get a Demonic Tutor or something. I really want that Amnesia. Okay. The only card I had was a Recall. So I'm going to try and recall here. There's lands I had in hand. Alright, so I'm going to get a Brain Geyser and a Time Walk. I was worried about a Mind Twist at this point. There's 2 factories on his end. Okay. There's a swing and a pass. Again, I'm not stressing it at the moment. this point I'm counting up in hand. I don't need that many, so I'm going to try and draw even more cards. But there's a counter spell. But I had one in hand. So that tells me that's the end of his counter magic. So I'm going to draw my cards. Guess what I'm going to do? Time walk again. I don't want to know how many cards I went through in the last couple turns here, but there's another land. Demonic Tutor. Guess what I'm going for? I want to make sure he has nothing in hand. Alright, so I'm going to start tapping the lands here. There she is, Amnesia. Now it showed 3 in hand, but he only had 2 in hand. So there goes his, it's going to show me the lands. I'm going to play a Ivory Tower at this point. And I'm going to start riding the Tower book and fill my hand up and gain some life. So at this point, he does have 2 factories. I am not worried about them at all. I pretty much believe I have the game sealed here. I just got to take his massive life total down. I don't remember what he was, but I believe he is well over the 20s at this point. I was going to Mirror Universe, but never found it. That's part of why I had the Time Walk there. I was going to hopefully Mirror Universe Time Walk combo. So there's the Sullivan Library. Now this is one thing I was never used to. I'm not used to Tome and Library being in the same thing. But he was explaining to me how Tome and Library actually go hand in hand. If you time it right, you actually get to look at 4 cards. So I was playing around with that to see what would happen. There's a plow on the factory, so I don't have to worry about that thing anymore. So I got rid of the factories. I'm going to keep testing this Tome and Sullivan Library thing out. I kind of decided I don't really like it. I'm going to leave Tome till their end step and just remember Sullivan Library and what cards I had, so I know what's on top of my deck, and if I need it, I can make it look like I'm top decking things and desperately reaching out when I'm actually knowing what's already there. But I wanted to test it out. I watched a game recently, and a bunch of guys kept doing this trigger all the time. Not using it on step, but using it in their upkeep with Sullivan Library. And I wanted to see what all the hype was. By the way, if you haven't looked at his sleeves, they're Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Thought that was really cool. Again, I'm playing with that Sullivan Library book trigger. Now, as we were doing this, we were both thinking later, exhausted, but we believe we missed some of the lives, but these were test games. We really weren't stressing these things too much. He knew I wanted to test something out. But I wanted to show you it's very important because Texas Old School has a lot of power in it. Even though you might think, hey, this format has too many restrictions, whatever your thoughts may be. If you didn't actually try it, it's an awesome community of people. It is starting out. There will be changes, I'm sure. But you can still build your fun decks. You just got to get a little janky in chess magic with them. And yes, chess magic. I mean, basically using Magic the Gathering as a chess game. So there's a tome on his end. I have 6 cards currently on hand. I try and do the best I can to always keep my hand on the table at all times, unless it's my turn. Alright, let's see what we got. I forgot to tap my mana. I eventually got off of this. Like I said, I didn't really like it that much. But I had plenty of mana, so I wasn't stressing it. Alright, so I took my card. Play a Mox, tap my regrowth. Waiting to see if there's any responses to the regrowth. Just going to use his tome. I'm going to kill it. And off to the regrowth. Alright. So what I got with the regrowth is I wanted to make sure that he doesn't have any cards left. So I decided to get Scepter because what I'm going to start doing is what Brian taught me was I'm going to use the Scepters to protect my angels. Yes, Scepter protects your angels. Trying to see what he's tapping 2 for. I don't remember. Oh, Disenchant. But I already have answers for that. There's a mana drain. That's going to give me 2 mana. Are we going to see a counter magic back? No, we're going to see Armageddon. There's another counter spell. Brian always says, don't keep more counter magic than you have mana for. Guess what? I didn't. Never blow a counter spell on something that's not going to change the game. Unless you have another backup. Now, technically, the first card is always the book one. But you do get to look deeper, which I don't actually, like I said, I don't see it. I don't like it, so I won't be doing that combination, but hey, there's only one way to find out, right? Got to test it out. Okay, there's Chaos Orb. Just in case anything crazy comes out, I wanted to make sure that I was good to go and did not have to worry. I believe in hand I had, I don't remember if I had 2 Sarahs yet or I drew a Sarah next turn. But I'm gonna Scepter out to make sure that he's discarding. Yep, he has a land. I have 4 in hand. I believe I had 2 Sarah Angels in hand. And 1 more counter magic of some sort. I can't remember exactly what I had. It might have been just regular counter spell, but I had something else in my hand to protect myself. Now, as you see here, I'm missing life triggers. But that really didn't matter all that much. This turn, I don't believe I had a trigger, but technically I should have, because if the book is going off, this is where I don't like the book library. The book should be first, not with library, because if you do the book first, life gains off a tower. But being a test game, we were testing out a few things. There's another mana source, a Soul Ring. I'm going to start counting up what I have in my graveyard here. Alright. I believe I start playing out the Sarah Angel now. Oh no, Mirror Universe. Okay. I wanted to try and get it out. Alright, so I did find the last counterspell, I believe, of his. There's the Scepter. Can't quite tell what that is there at the moment. But what I realized is I'm out of counters. They're all in my graveyard. So I needed to draw out a counterspell, so when I play Sarah Angel, she'd be there. So there's a quick pass. Nothing in hand. Gonna draw. Again, yes, I know I could be gaining life now, but we're testing. As soon as I start this tournament, I want to know the best way that I can possibly play this deck. So if you guys see any suggestions as you're watching this, if there's anything that you know of that I may not have, please let me know. Alright, there's a Scepter. I believe I got a Plow, maybe? I forget what I got out of his hand here. Yep, I got a Plow out of his hand, so I'm going to use Scepter, and then I'm going to use the Tome. And the library triggers. Again, I was not worried about life. I knew I had this entire game controlled. I wish I had an extra counterspell, but I did not. But there's the Sarah Angel. We'll see if he has anything left going on here. I know I just got rid of a Plow with Scepter. Again, Scepter protects your angels. I was not doing that correctly the first couple test games, but I learned. Brian explained it to me. So now I'm going to start life gain here. And he's kind of going, I'm kind of going over things with him that I'd rather have the book at end step so I could actually draw, or on upkeep, so I can draw and gain life. So he was letting me know, hey, you should be correcting that. All right. So he knows I'm going to force him to discard. He has 1 card in hand. So he decides just to bolt me. Again, I'm not stressing it. There's the untap. Now, I can't read his dice. I couldn't read it during the game either. I kept having to ask him. So if you guys do see this, using 6-sided dice is cool because other people can see your life total. I'm going to gain life because I will use the book to draw to 7 to gain 3. Now I will trigger library to draw the best card out of the 3. Now that I know he has no hand, I'm going to make sure I don't have to worry about any crazy factories or anything that may be coming out. So I'm going to make sure that my moat is up. And I'm going to keep swinging with my angel just to make sure I have the game completely locked. If he does bring in crazy, I also have a Chaos Orb still hanging out. At this point, I'm going to keep chipping out. There's a Fireball. He's going to go for lethal here. But I calculated that. So you'll see me count with him here. But I will not die. I will be at 2. So even if he spent all his mana, he will take a burn. I will be at 2. I applied my own angel. Again, I had a second one in my hand this entire time. I was not stressing it. But this is one reason I don't put my 2 finishers out at the same time. Because if someone draws a fireball, instead of hitting me, would have hit both the angels. And then he could have killed me off. Because I wouldn't have had a way of killing him at this point. So I'm going to draw, gain some life. Use the Sylvan Library trigger. I'm going to play that other Sarah Angel now that I had in my hand the whole time. I know he does not have a hand, so I have nothing to Scepter at the moment. That's one of the advantages of the Scepter. It's use it or lose it. I believe that was a counter spell. It's not going to help him. Again, use Scepter to protect yourself. So there's the Scepter. There's the book. I'm going to draw my card for book. I should be gaining the life here. Now I'm going to trigger Sullivan Library. I learned a lot with book and library based off of the Dune. I run 2 books in library, and one of my versions I'm still messing with the deck here, but Sullivan Library and Tome go extremely well together because you already know what you're going to draw. Alright, we had a little bit of a glitch there, but we're all good. I swung with Sarah Angel, and past turn I'm up to 7 cards in hand. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, he twisted. I wasn't worried about it. I really didn't have anything but lands and disenchant, so I just disenchanted the Soul Ring anyway. But at this point, I know I already have the game. I have Tome. I'm drawing all my cards, and I'm going to finish him off. Again, sorry guys, I wish that the dice was more visible. I'm going to start keeping 2 dice on my side and try and keep track of the life, or use my phone to track both people's life. That's probably a better idea. But there's another swing. I'm going to bring him down. He's near death now. There's the draw. Couldn't quite see what that was. Oh, it looks like it was a land. Again, he knows Scepter's out, so it's lose or use it. I'm just going to keep gaining cards, keeping the illusion that I have counter magic up. Now he is playing a factory, but that factory can't do anything because of moat. So I'm going to keep swinging. Yep, there's just a Mox on his end. I'm laughing because this is the last card, but it does not matter because he dies. So there's a land, Wrath of God, and Disenchant. Hope you guys enjoyed these games. I hope you have a wonderful night.